regulation, and Golden State had 9 turnovers in the fourth quarter and overtime combined. The Warriors now 26-25 on the season. Shannon, will the Warriors be able to turn back somehow into a championship contender?
I'm going to say no, Skip. This team just looks different than last year. Skip, I remember the time when Clay and Steph, when they got it going, that was 15, 20-point wins. Now, even when they do have it going, it's still a nip-tuck ball game. Skip, but here's something fascinating. I don't know if you know this, but my good producer, Ash, Steph has played in 5 OT games in the last 2 seasons. He scored a grand total of 7 points.
Okay.
He's 1 for 13 from the floor in those OT periods. They've lost 9 straight road OT games. How in the hell, who in the hell you think you're going to beat if your best player in 5 OT games gives you 7 points? Can you imagine if Go James had given you those stat lines in 5 games over a 2-year period, gave you 7 points?
I'm going to go deeper. Over the last 5 years, Golden State is 3-16 in overtime games in regular season and playoffs.
Wow.
3-16? Well, the burden falls upon your revolutionary shooter, the greatest shooter ever, right? You got to break. Okay, he's played in 12 of those games. That's a pretty big.
That's a sample size.
Okay, 12 games. In those 12, he from the floor is 10 of 35. That's 29%, and from 3, he's 7 of 24. That's 29%. Last night in the fourth quarter and overtime, as they blew a 13-point fourth quarter lead, he was 0 of 2 from 3 in the fourth and 0 of 3 from 3 in the overtime. You're going to lose.
Yes.
He is the greatest shooter ever. He is the greatest trick shot artist ever.
Yes.
And Clay, as we just saw on the highlight, at the end of regulation, sets a screen that is so good, he picks off 2 T-Wolves at once. If we see that last shot, 2 T-Wolves at once, and gives Steph a wide open, I don't know what that is, but, this is a turnover. I'm sorry, those are the turnovers. Here's that last shot. That's as wide open.
Yeah, you can't get a better shot than that.
It's a free throw.
Yeah, you're not going to get a better shot than that, Skip.
Okay, and then we were showing just a second before, he had 2 turnovers in the fourth quarter. I watched this game all the way through the fourth quarter. This is horrible. Watch this is careless. Okay, that's the first one, and the second one's even worse. Here's the second one. Here, I'll throw it to the referee. I don't know. Remember, you opened the door and said, T-Wolves, you want to run through our door? We were up 13, and all of a sudden we're up none. And you go to overtime and lose.
And they got Skip, they got 7 guys in double figures.
Yep.
They got 7 guys in double figures.
Okay, given the stats you just read me, I'm going to remind you that after the NBA Finals last year, when he was the MVP, you said you vaulted him all the way up into the top 10 all time.
Yeah.
Well, off these overtime stats, somebody's got to say, wait a second, that doesn't work. I think you just got disqualified.
No, you can't bump it by, Skip. You can't bump it by. You can't.
Well, come on. These are the money games. These are all your overtime games, and your team is terrible because you're pretty terrible.
Yeah, they're not good right now. They're not good. And it's like I said, Skip, and it's not like they're blowing leads late in ball games. They're 14, 13, 12-point leads. And they had like a 20-something point lead, and OKC like they got them. It took Steph Curry shooting out of his mind.
I agree.
It took Clay shooting out of his mind just to hold them off after having a big lead.
I don't see a contender.
No, people don't feel like they want to.
It is a very unusual situation for the Warriors. We got to go, guys. We're out of time. How close will LeBron get to Kareem's record tonight? We'll still get to that before Undisputed ends.
Whatever, man. I've been talking about them, and I felt it was going to come down considering what they played last year. Had they played like this last year against the Golden State Warriors, Skip, they would have won the title, especially this duo. They've done a better job. Now, they still turn the ball over a little bit too much for my liking, but there's so much firepower. They have so much of an arsenal between those two. They're averaging 30 points a game between the two of them, Skip. So when you factor in Tatum's 31, Jaylen Brown's 29 or something like that, you get actually, it's 28. They average 28.89, which is like the seventh most in NBA history between a duo. And they've either led the team in scoring or tied for scoring every single game. Skip, they're special. They're legit. And what makes them so good is that they're so deep. Marcus Smart is not even starting right now, Skip. He's not even playing. And then when you bring Brogdon off the bench, Derek White is starting, and you got Robert Williams, and you got Al Horford, and you got all these guys. They can just come at you in waves. They just wear you down. And you know on any given night, JT can go get you 50. Jaylen Brown can go get you in the high 30s, 40s. And when they team up and they come at you in waves, on a given night, Skip, they're going to get you 60. You just hope they don't hit you up for 70, 75, maybe even 80. So there are the team. I didn't need to see them massacre the Nets last night. That wasn't even a game. I think at what the first quarter was 46-16. You know that game was over. I don't expect them to do a whole lot. I mean, Kyrie can make some magic, but they're not going to do anything without Kevin Durant. And even when KD gets back, I still think they're too small. I don't think they could do anything with the Celtics or the Bucks in a 7-game series. But I didn't need that, Skip. They're special. They got a very unique combo, and they play all the time, which is a plus. So for me, Skip, I didn't need to see that. I think it's going to come down between them and the Bucks when it's all said and done. Chris Middleton is back. It's going to take a while for him to get his legs back, get his conditioning back up under him. But and you know what Giannis is. Giannis is Giannis. Holiday has been great in his absence of Middleton. He's stepped up into that number 2 role. But the Boston Celtics right now are the team to beat.
Again, I got to get a new TV. I don't know what I keep watching, but the harder I watch the Celtics, the less I see. I hear all the things you just said, but they rise and they fall, and they rise and they fall. And last night they rose because, did you look at the three-point numbers on your?
Yeah, but they're capable of that, Skip.
Okay, but everybody's capable of that. That was a three-point aberration night that you can dismiss because they come and they go. It is a make or miss league, and they make everything last night. And they made 26 of 54 threes. It's outrageously great because the Nets made 9 of 39. That's a difference of 17 three-point shots plus on the Celtics side. That's 51 points better from the three-point line. What do you think's going to happen? Well, 139 to 96 is going to happen. If you make that many threes, you tip your cap, you say, too good, see you again next time when we have our 7-foot monster back.
But Skip, even though they might not make 26, they're gonna make they make on average between 14 and 18 a game. So it's not like they are a top 3-point shooting team.
Okay.
And they got guys that can. Tatum can put it on the floor and get to the rim. Jaylen Brown can put it on the floor and get to the rim.
Yep.
They got guys that they just don't settle for the threes. They got guys that can finish at the basket.
Okay, against the Lakers the other night on Saturday night, the reason it came down to you having a chance to win the game in regulation was because there was no Jason Tatum to be found in the fourth quarter. He went 1 for 7 in the fourth quarter.
But Skip,
right?
where did he go in the second half?
Well,
he laid it up.
Jaylen Brown who took the game over, and I always tell you, the guy who scares me the most is Jaylen Brown.
In the fourth quarter in overtime. But you remember that third quarter? Jason Tatum went haywire.
Okay. How did they lose 3 times to Orlando this year already? They've already lost 3 games to Orlando. How just recently I watched as they lost at Orlando, then they went down to Miami and they lost, and then they came home and they lost to the Knicks at home when Jaylen Brown missed 2 free throws at the end of the game. He made up for it on Saturday night. But I saw that. I saw them lose earlier this year 5 out of 6. I saw them lose 3 straight games at home. They hit and they miss. They rise and they fall.
But Skip,
they're not the defensive team they were under Ime a year ago. They're now a 10th best defense as opposed to the first best defense.
But the difference is in a regular season game is that do you believe Orlando can beat them in a 7-game series? That's what you have to worry about. I don't worry about a game here or a game there.
I know, but that's 3 times to a team that you let off the show today calling a bad team.
Skip, but I'm saying, do you believe Orlando could beat this team in a 7-game series?
Well, obviously I don't. But you have lost to them in 3 regular season games.
But what you call them, Orlando beat Philly.
They've beaten a lot of people.
Yes.
They beat Dallas, and they beat Phoenix, and they beat Golden State twice. But Orlando is on the rise. They got talent. Banchero is a stud. He's legit. And listen, the Wagner brothers, they can both play, I got to tell you.
And they got Isaac's back. He's playing well. Cole Anthony comes in off the bench. He does a great job. But, Scott, all I'm saying is this, is that, you're going to lose a game here or there. But the question is, can anybody in the East beat these guys in a 7-game series? I believe the only team that can is the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't believe the Nets can. I don't believe the Sixers can. I believe that's the competition. Those 4 teams.
Okay.
Miami, I know Miami maybe the playoff team and they fight, they scrappy, but Skip, I just don't see it this year.
Okay. So we got 5 minutes deep in this conversation before you even mentioned the team that I love the most in the East, the team I picked before the season to win the East. You just dismiss them, you bury them, you ignore them. Mr. Sharp, since December 1st, the best team in the East is the best team in basketball. The Sixers, since December 1st, have gone 21-7. That's the best record in the NBA.
And they still in second place.
And
they still in second place.
Well,
you been telling me they got the best record since December 6th, and they still in second place?
And
so
you
what that
keep
tell
telling
you?
me, Joker is the MVP again.
MVP. Say it with me again. Do you know he averaged a triple-double? He averaged a triple-double.
You were probably out and about.